Welcome to today's Explainer. Look, if you're a focused learner who's constantly trying to streamline your engineering processes, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're diving into a massive, and I mean massive shift in the development landscape. We're talking about transforming your entire coding workflow with Claude Code. We are officially moving way beyond basic autocomplete. We're going to uncover what this tool actually is, how to get it set up perfectly on your machine, and we'll dig into some incredible hidden power user techniques that are going to save you hours of tedious work every single week. I want you to completely rethink how you interact with AI right now. Just imagine for a second. What if you didn't have to meticulously copy and paste code blocks back and forth between your browser and your IDE? What if your AI could just write a feature, run the test suite, read the error logs when it inevitably fails, and then automatically rewrite the code to fix the bug entirely on its own? Because there is a colossal leap from traditional IDE autocomplete to a truly autonomous terminal native workflow. Standard assistants, well, they're great at predicting your next few lines of code. But Claude Code operates on a totally different level of autonomy. It literally reads your entire repository, it executes bash commands, and it tests its own work. It's kind of like the difference between a tool that passively hands you a wrench and a junior engineer who just grabs the wrench and fixes the engine for you. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We'll start with meeting your AI colleague. Then we'll walk through getting set up, dive into mastering project memory, explore some hidden features and security, and finally wrap it all up with some absolute power user tips. Section 1, meet your AI colleague. Let's actually define what this tool is and why you should treat it more like an active team member than just a static piece of software. So the beauty here is that you don't micromanage every keystroke anymore. You basically just describe the goal, something like, hey, fix the failing CI tests, and Claude Code takes the wheel. It locates the relevant code, edits the files, runs the test commands, interprets those results, and can even commit the changes to version control when it's finished. You get to just step back, play the role of the reviewer, and let it handle the heavy lifting and multi-step execution completely on its own. And crucially, Claude isn't just trapped in a silo on your machine. Through the Model Context Protocol, or MCP for short, Claude can fetch data and act on external services directly. You can literally plug in GitHub, Jira, or a database. Just imagine pulling a bug report directly from Slack, typing fix into your terminal, and then letting Claude query the necessary logs and update the code without you ever having to break your focus. It is wild. Right, moving on to section 2, getting set up. Let's make sure you get Claude installed and running flawlessly on your machine the very first time. You can actually get this junior developer onboarded in 3 super simple steps. First up, run the native install command for your specific operating system. That could be a terminal curl command, homebrew if you're on a Mac, or winget for Windows. Next, you literally just type Claude to trigger a quick browser authentication. And finally, and this is absolutely the most important step, you run the /init command in the root of your project directory. That generates the core memory file that anchors the AI's understanding of your exact codebase. Section 3, Mastering Project Memory. Let's talk about the brain of the operation, the clo.md file, and how to use it to lock in Claude's context. Now, if you're working in larger monorepos, you really need to be strategic and split your instructions. You do not want to burn through your AI context window. So instead of one massive file, keep your repository-wide rules, things like commit standards and overarching architecture guidelines, in a root claude.md file. Then, put your stack-specific conventions in per subdirectory claude.md files. Doing this ensures Claude only loads the backend rules when you are actually working in the backend directory, which saves you a massive amount of processing tokens. And I have to say, this right here is probably one of the most powerful habits you are ever going to develop. Whenever Claude makes a mistake or maybe misses a specific architectural pattern your team relies on, you just tell it, update your claude.md so this doesn't happen again. Claude will physically write its own rule into its memory file. You're effectively building a living manual shaped by real-world coding, and you never have to repeat yourself again. Okay, section 4, hidden features and security. We definitely need to cover safe terminal access and some really clever hidden mechanics for managing memory. So since the AI's context window has hard limits, compaction is absolutely your best friend for keeping costs low and keeping the AI's intelligence really high during those long, complex tasks. When Claude reads too many files, it can actually start to lose track of older instructions. Running the /compact command lets Claude summarize everything it's done so far into a dense recap. It ditches all the conversational overhead and frees up working memory so it can just keep coding efficiently.
But we do have to pause here for a quick cautionary tale. By default, Claude Code will always ask for your permission before modifying files or running commands. However, there is a flag called YOLO mode. It's technically named to dangerously skip permissions, and it auto-approves literally everything. And honestly, friends don't let friends use YOLO mode. I know we all love moving fast, but bypassing all safety blocks is incredibly risky. There are real cases of an AI hallucinating a destructive command like rm-rf and wiping out a home directory.
So, to move fast without totally breaking your machine, you should configure custom permission rules instead of turning off safety checks completely. If you edit the settings JSON file, you can actually whitelist specific read-only commands like ls, getlog, or find. This magically gets rid of those annoying constant permission prompts for harmless actions, but it keeps your crucial safety nets perfectly intact for anything that might edit a file or delete data.
Finally, Section 5, Power User Tips. Let's really accelerate your development cycle with some rapid-fire workflow hacks.
Integrating these into your daily routine is going to speed up your cycle so much. First up, prefixing an exclamation point before a bash command runs it instantly inline and it drops the output straight into the AI's context. Second, running /simplify actually triggers parallel agents to review your code for efficiency. And finally, if you ever hit a really brutal, tricky architectural bug, setting /effort max tells Claude to allocate maximum thinking tokens. It'll reason deeply about the problem before it even tries to act.
Also, notice how simply changing your prompting style can save massive amounts of context. Stop pasting huge blocks of text or raw stack traces. It permanently eats up your token budget for the rest of the session. Instead, you just want to reference specific file paths in your prompt. Telling Claude to, look at the validate token function in src/auth.ts allows it to selectively read exactly what it needs. It keeps your session blazingly fast and super lean. But here is the absolute #1 most impactful thing you can do. Give Claude eyes to verify its own output. Think about it. If you ask an engineer to build a website but don't let them actually look at a web browser, the result is going to be pretty rough. By installing the Claude Code Chrome extension, you effectively hand the AI a browser. It can visually check the front end, spot rendering errors, and iteratively fix its own UI code until it is absolutely pixel perfect. And if you find yourself typing out the exact same complex prompts over and over, turn them into an on-demand skill. By creating a skill.md file in your projects.claude/skills directory, you package up step-by-step instructions for tasks, like a custom deployment or a specific type of code review. This is exactly how you turn your own personal workflow hacks into standardized, automated superpowers that your whole team can trigger with just a simple / command. Ultimately, what I really hope you take away from this explainer is that we are actively moving from simple code completion to active delegation. This isn't just about typing fewer characters anymore. It genuinely requires a complete mindset shift. You are the technical lead now. You're directing an AI colleague that reads your standards, actually learns from your corrections, and autonomously executes all the heavy lifting. So, I want you to boot up your terminal, initialize your project, and ask yourself, what is the very first tedious, repetitive task you are going to hand off to your new AI colleague today? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep experimenting, keep optimizing, and enjoy your brand new workflow.